when you're on the run, it doesn't hurt to have some superpowers. Here they are, the cast of The Gifted. Welcome, guys. You're all X-Men. How cool is that?
It's amazing.
Very
Come on.
cool.
It's pretty damn cool.
Golden age of doing X-Men Marvel movies.
I mean, obviously,
nice to be part of it.
The Gifted is doing a little bit of a different spin on these characters, but have you seen people walking around like cosplaying as Blink and everyone else?
No, no, I haven't. Have you?
We've barely started. This is our first outing as a group, so it'd be really scary. I mean, I've seen some flannel shirts, and that's all I wear. So there's a few guys that are dressed as Eclipse. I get you, in fact, right now, are dressed like Eclipse. Maybe not the shorts. He's not a knees out guy.
We also haven't seen a lot of people. They don't let us around
They don't?
the
You
crowd.
gotta get out
They
of the
keep
front.
each other's
us in a
faces.
bubble of security
You're gonna
guards
have
as
to
we
come
move
back
through
next
them.
year in like the full-on comic book
That would be
cosplays or
awesome.
characters,
That's
right?
the-
People-
that's the
Polaris
goal.
is huge. Magneto's daughter,
yeah, a
and
lot of people
Thunderbird
do
is really
Polaris.
famous, and Blink too. I'm made up, so no one will dress as me, but these three.
Darling. It's a little crushing when
He's
when the
waiting to
creator of your show comes
you.
up to you and says, maybe you should wear your contacts and the
No, no.
birthmark.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's like, maybe you should wear it next year.
Who suggested this?
I wore the
Max.
only because
Oh.
I wore the green
Nix.
hair.
I know.
I know.
Anyways.
Well, were you all fans of the X-Men comics growing up, or did you guys sort of get to prep and learn about the characters here?
Well, when we signed out of the project, not all of us were fans. Some of us were big hardcore fans. I'm not going to name names. But they basically gave us access to all the archives of all the comics and were like, you have some suggested reading.
Yeah, yeah. Do some research. No, I wasn't fortunate enough to read that many comics when I was younger. I would have liked to. My brother didn't really let me read them, so no, I didn't. I didn't read them too much. But I love the movies and I love the stories, and I knew enough about it. But then when this project started to come around and become a potential,
I still have some of
real
my
thing.
comic books.
Yeah.
Do you,
Yeah.
Blair?
And then you
I have
start reading them
hundreds.
like
You do?
I was a huge fan, huge X-Men fan. My brother actually read comics with me, so we had a nice.
My brother was
comic
more
moment.
inclined to do it. It wasn't that he didn't let me. I was doing other stuff.
How did he respond when you called him up and you were like, yo, I'm casting an X-Men show?
Oh, him and my dad were both freaking out
Over the
about it.
moon.
Yeah, we grew up reading tons of comics, watching the X-Men cartoon every Saturday morning. It was great.
Now, it's-
He's going to play Warpath.
Not my real brother, because he doesn't look like him. But yeah, sorry, Ryan.
Now, obviously, it's huge that the X-Men are coming to TV on Fox and The Gifted, but you are doing a new spin on the story with these familiar characters. So can you sort of set up how your various characters are similar and different from their comics counterparts?
Well, it's an altered reality, so it takes place in the Marvel universe, but it's not a story that has been told, nor does it continue any other story that has been told. There are some similar aspects in terms of like the Sentinel services, Blink, Polaris, Thunderbird.
There's posters for Stark Industries. Like, we live
Yeah.
in the universe, but we don't live in the same
Exactly.
lineage
But
as them.
for
so-
example, like Blink can't just throw portals open. Like, she's still figuring it out and she's still struggling to open portals. So you'll see differences. in
we're
the
developing
characters.
into those people, and really it's about being. We're more mutants than X-Men. We don't don suits and run around. We aren't
Yet.
that finished product yet. So we're more these innocent people that have been born or happen
Yeah.
to find they have this X gene and they're persecuted for it, and they're finding out
Exactly.
how to deal with that and how to deal with this world that doesn't accept them and how to fight back or whether to help others. And they're finding their feet. Very often.
It's a street level view of the X-Men
yeah,
universe.
exactly
It's
right.
like a grittier,
we
lower
don't fly
budget.
yet. There's no flying
Lower
yet.
budget.
I mean, honestly, like
No buildings
like we were
blowing up.
talking earlier about like Polaris, she controls metal, but we don't see her saving people's lives. We see her like stealing change from the laundromat. It's like to buy food. It's
Now, this might be a little bit of a spoiler, but do you have the same context in the show about who her father is? Is that a part of it?
I'm just gonna say Polaris in The Gifted doesn't know who her true father is, and I hope someday they meet and that she gets to see where all her cool gifts
That
are
would
from.
be a pretty
What a
damn good
reunion
cameo.
that would be.
yeah.
I
Ooh,
will
sparks
tune in
would
for that.
fly.
That's a tearjerker.
And
so.
that's the only episode that I'm not in because Eclipse isn't coming near Polaris' dad. Like, I'm her boyfriend.
Who are you?
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Magneto.
Yeah, what can you say about Eclipse? Because as you mentioned, he's not necessarily a character from the comics.
Yeah, he isn't, which means that anything I do isn't wrong, which is really fortunate. It's like, that's not
Well-
Eclipse. No, I've obviously
I have
wrong
a
all
list,
the time. You are the worst. Eclipse, he's a brand new character, which is quite fun, actually. But actually, Matt steeped him in so much history already. Like, these characters are always so in depth. The comics have so little time to establish people so vividly and Matt's obviously used that and was already sort of adept at doing that because he did that with Eclipse really quickly. And he's a new character, but he feels, to me, he feels very real anyway. But he has just as much history, and he's just as ingrained in this universe as these three, in the sense of we're a family together, we're a group, and and it's just quite fun. I like the fact that there's a new person. It's nice to have the history, but it's nice to have the future too.
I'm also really interested. I mean, this is a show where there is the family, the Struckers, correct? Who are going on the run and encounter your characters, but it sounds like you're all a family as well. What's sort of the joy of creating that dynamic, this sort of non-traditional family unit we have here?
Yeah, we, clearly it's the fact that we don't have anyone else to turn to. I think that's something.
There's no other options than for us to hang out.
Well,
so.
together.
This is it. It's not by
relatable.
choice.
No, it is.
It's
Well, like
just
we said earlier,
because you're
it's a
stuck
world
with
where the
them.
mutants are on the run, and so they band together. They have each other. They have nowhere else to turn.
That too.
So it is the second family of the show. You have your traditional one, and then you have these people that are the
But
outcasts.
also in real life, like when I'm ziplocked in a vacuum sealed bag and passing out, I want my best teammates near me.
Yeah, absolutely.
We go through a lot.
I was like, what is the context for
You'll
this?
have to watch just
It's
find
hard.
out.
It's hard to not have a lot of fun actually on this, and also they share a lot of. The reason that they're all part of this family is they share. Well, obviously, naturally, they have a lot of the same conditions, or they're persecuted in the same manner, but they have a lot of the same characteristics and traits. Those things are going to get torn apart and they're going to get poked and prodded at. But these people are leaders and they want to help and they want to do good, and they have all very valid and different reasons for that. But that unifies them, and luckily we're all quite samey in real life as well. As in, there's no one here that's horrendous.
No, not horrendous.
Said the only horrendous person in the room, obviously. But
Listen, we weren't going to throw you under the bus.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for coming by.
Thank
IGN,
you.
such a
Thank
pleasure
you.
chatting with you.
Thank you
Can't
very
wait
much.
to see
Appreciate
The
it.
Gifted. We have a lot more excitement coming up next, so stay tuned.